its IPO by October end or early November. Total size to be around 1,700 crore rupees for 15% equity. The firm won't go for a pre-IPO fundraise this time.
Paytm founder and CEO Vijay Shekhar Sharma launches his maiden fund, VSS Investments, with an eye on backing electric vehicles and artificial intelligence-led startups. An initial size of 20 crore rupees and a green shoe of 10 crore rupees, making the total corpus of 30 crore rupees.
General Atlantic to acquire a minority stake in online B2B travel distribution platform Travel Boutique Online. General Atlantic has entered into an agreement with entities held by Affirma Capital. Subsequent to this deal, Affirma Capital will continue to remain invested in the company.
Flipkart India, the B2B arm of the e-commerce major, saw its revenues increase by just 9.4% from 50,993 crore rupees in FY22 to a little over 55,824 crore rupees that it saw in FY23. Now, the company's losses widened 42% to 4,846 crore rupees in FY23 from 3,404 crore rupees in FY22.
AI startup GigaML raises $3.6 million in seed funding from Nexus Venture Partners, Y Combinator and others. The platform allows businesses to deploy LLMs such as GPT-4 directly on their own servers.
Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli have forayed into promoting events and experiences through their new venture, Nisarga. The new venture will promote high-impact events in IPs, curate special segments in existing IPs, as well as develop and create new platforms. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But the top story today, Paytm founder and CEO Vijay Shekhar Sharma has launched his maiden fund called VSS Investments. This fund will focus on backing Indian startups in the electric vehicles and artificial intelligence space. The fund that received SEBI's approval has an initial size of 20 crore rupees with a green shoe option of 10 crore rupees. This brings the total corpus to 30 crore rupees. The fund will be managed by a professional investment manager.
All right, from one top story to another. Honasa Consumer, the parent company of popular brands like Mamaearth, the Derma Co, B-Blunt plans to launch its much-anticipated IPO by the end of October or early November this year. Now, the company aims to raise around 1,700 crore rupees via a combination of a fresh issue and an offer for sale. It is looking at a valuation of 11,000 to 11,500 crore rupees. Sources tell us that there will be no pre-IPO fundraising and the proceeds will be used to enhance brand visibility and to establish new outlets. Now, founded in 2016 by the husband-wife duo of Varun and Ghazal Alag, the fast-growing D2C brand in the beauty, baby care and skincare segments received regulatory approval for the listing from SEBI in August after filing draft papers in December 2022. Now, according to the DRHP, the shareholders who will dilute their holdings include the Alag, Sofina Ventures, SA, Evolvance, Fireside Ventures, Stellaris Venture Partners, Snapdeal founder Kunal Behl, Bollywood actor Shilpa Shetty Kundra, Rishabh Harsh Mariwala and Rohit Kumar Bansal. Sequoia Capital is not participating in the offer for sale.
Well, those are the two big developments today. But moving on, fixed income investment platform Tap Invest has raised $2 million in its seed round, led by Turbo Start. Now, Snow Leopard Ventures, alongside angel investors like Kunal Shah and Kashyap Shah, also participated. The startup's existing backers, Upsparks and Superb Capital, to continue to support the platform in this round. Now, Tap Invest is a fintech startup that offers asset renting as an alternative investment product. Joining us now to discuss this further is Nishchay Nath, the co-founder and CEO of Tap Invest, and with me, my colleague Shruti Mishra as well. Nishchay, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. Before we get into the fundraise, talk to us about your rebranding. What was the rationale to change your name from Lead Round to Tap Invest at this point?
Right. Thanks so much for having me here. When we started off, we started looking at asset leasing as a category, figured out what different problems were existing and how we eventually even built up a very strong book in the space using asset leasing as a product. We also happened to launch other products such as invoice discounting and bonds on the platform, had several learnings over the last 15 months, and figured that what Indians really need are multiple income streams in a single place. And even the act of diversifying is a horizontal play. So we realized that we will have to move into multiple products and we wanted to create an experience, a very sharp, crystal clear experience in a simple, trustworthy manner. And what's better than doing it at the tap of a button, right? That's how the idea of tap came into being. And today we are a fixed income investments platform with more than 150 crore in investments across invoice discounting, asset leasing, and bonds as products.
All right, Nishchay, this is Shruti quickly stepping in. The fixed income investment category in India today accounts for approximately 70% of all investments assets. So clearly there is tremendous opportunity and potential for growth in this category. You know, you spoke a little about your offerings, but tell us, how are they unique?
Right. So we recognize that when it comes to investing, it's not just the investment product. Yes, good quality returns, transparency, and being able to deliver on time. Those are the hygiene items which are required. But end of the day, there are the peripherals of the investment experience, which helps reduce a lot of buyer remorse as well, such as, for example, taxation, right? Our investments are heavily tax optimized, and we are working with a lot of industry players to be able to deliver that a really good quality investment experience even after you've made the investment. So we've given a lot of attention to detail, considering retail investors do not have access to a lot of resources in their network or at their disposal. And considering that, we've created the entire product experience, which puts us a league ahead of some of the other products in the market.
Right. All right, Nisha, if you could quickly tell us, you've raised $2 million. So expanding your market presence and adding more products is what's top on the agenda. So talk to us about your fundraising plans and what are the new offerings on the anvil?
Right. There is no one single recognizable name in the industry.
Right.
And we are attempting to create that awareness, that brand name in the minds of the Indian consumers. The next 12 months are going to be focused on strengthening three things internally. One, at the operational level, we have built a very strong operational stack and continue to invest on our risk monitoring capabilities. Two, is the piece of product, us being able to deliver a world-class product experience at scale is only possible through digital channels, and that's what we're heavily focusing on. And lastly, is the method of creating awareness and distribution through retail and different channels in the market. So these will be the three areas in which we would be focusing on spending our energy into. Apart from that, we've ensured really good quality revenues flowing into the company. But yes, fundraise would be on the cards in the future. But yeah, we would be giving ourselves some time to build with the capital that we've received.
All right, Nishchay, picking up from what you just said, if you could talk to us about TAP's investments growth, you know, what are the revenues you've clocked in the past year? Also, you've set ambitious goals to raise 500 crores by the end of 2024 and 20,000 plus active users. What makes you bullish? Where do you see the next leg of growth coming from? And what is the road to profitability looking like?
Okay. So we've kept an eye on revenue since day one, and we've always had our commission structures in place, our transaction fees in place, and with an eye on our unit economics. That has allowed us to raise capital during such a time as well. Going forward, so while we have established a few of our products in the market, we plan to expand onto them itself, with the potential to explore one or two additional products from the fixed income space. The fixed income space ranges on a spectrum from FD bonds, P2P, to certain esoteric options. So we would be giving ourselves time to see which products work, how do they click, and most importantly, keeping the retail investors' interests at heart. We will take calls as and when how the market responds is how we would be also working with them.
All right, Nishchay, we're completely out of time, but thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. We wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you so much.
All right, with that, it's time for us to head into a short break. On the other side, we put the spotlight on two startups, Meolaa and Groww. Stay tuned for that.
E-commerce startup Meolaa has raised $2 million in its seed funding round led by Turbo Start, which operates as a fund and an accelerator. Launched by 23-year-old Ishita Sawant in January this year, Meolaa had in March bagged a pre-seed funding round from a clutch of investors including Ranjan Pai of Manipal Education and Sixth Sense Ventures founder and CEO Nikhil Vora, among others. Now, the company plans to deploy these fresh funds towards building its team for the next stage of growth. Joining me now is the founder of the company, Ishita Sawant, to take us through their plans ahead. Ishita, thanks very much for your time here on CNBC TV18. This is the first time since we're having you here on the show. If you could start by telling us a bit about the company, what you're trying to do differently from the plenty of e-commerce startups in the market already, and what your business model is.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. So in a nutshell, at Meolaa, we're curating eco-friendly, sustainable products. And we're focused on Gen Z and young millennials as a consumer base, because we understand that that's a consumer base that cares about the purpose behind every purchasing decision that they make. India has about 80 crore e-commerce users. So we realized that if we really want to create meaningful impact at scale, we need to begin at e-commerce.
Ishita, could you give us a sense of, in the few months since your launch, what the average spend per customer has been like on your platform?
Average order value on the platform is around 1,800 rupees. We see that growing month over month, not because of course, the prices of the products going on, because also customers are now purchasing 2 or 3 products because they've started trusting the platform and loving the brands even more. But yeah, on an average, we see 20% more premium than the commoditized alternatives that are available in your neighborhood shops, etc.
If you could tell us about this $2 million seed funding round that you raised, how exactly are you hoping to deploy these funds? How many employees do you currently have? How many are you looking to add? Or, how will you use this to expand?
For sure. So the $2 million that we've raised is a part of a seed round. It's been led by an accelerator called Turbo Start. We plan to deploy these funds predominantly towards building our loyal customer base on the platform. In addition to that, we're also ramping up our team. We've had a fabulous 15-member team that has got us thus far. And we're over the next quarter looking to grow to about a 50-member team across different functions. We're also investing extensively in our product and technology. We're the only new age platform in India that's actually built their own custom product.
Are you looking to expand beyond the Indian, sort of borders as well? Are there geographical expansion plans you have?
I'm actually in Dubai right now attending GITEX, which is one of the world's largest technology conferences, for this exact reason, because we feel that certain geographies which have similar consumption trends to India, such as the Middle East or Indonesia, Southeast Asia as a region where there's a large Indian diaspora, there's a lot of potential to take a lot of our Indian brands to these geographies.
Ishita, since your launch at the start of the year, could you give us a sense of how many orders you've had on the platform, how many users are on it, and where the GMV currently stands?
So we see around 4 lakh monthly active users on the platform. That number is growing close to 60% month over month. From an orders perspective, we're looking at around 10,000 orders on a monthly basis, again, growing month over month. From a GMV perspective, we're at around $5 million in annualized GMV. From a supply perspective, we're at around 1,800 brands listed on the platform and actively selling, which amount to around 150,000 SKUs currently.
And, to what extent are you hoping to scale these orders, users, and even from a demand and supply point of view? You said you have about 1,800 brands. How many more are you looking to add?
I think from a demand point of view, we're aiming for 10x growth over the next year, faster if possible, but definitely that's the goal and benchmark that we've set for ourselves. This will be enabled, of course, through a good kind of culmination of marketing, advertising, and promotions, as well as product-led growth. From a supply side perspective, I think we've become a lot more assortment-driven now. I think thus far we focused a lot more on bringing on board brands that fit our ethos. given we have a large enough supply now, and we have a large sample size to draw certain conclusions from, we've started kind of analyzing trends, seeing where gray areas are in the industry, and onboarding brands a little bit more tactically and strategically. We're also enabling a couple of international brands to come to India from unexplored geographies. So yeah, that's kind of what we have planned in the supply side.
What are you doing differently? What will be your vision to garner a larger market share in this market? Will there be an offline presence as well sometime in the future?
Sure. So I think with Meolaa, we're really trying to make sustainability a lot more approachable and attainable. And we're doing this by really bridging the gap between sustainability and lifestyle. Like you rightly mentioned, there are quite a few direct and indirect competitors in the market. I think the edge that we definitely have is that we're able to very effectively communicate the advantage that we bring to our consumers and their families' lives, and the feel-good factor that the consumer has when they feel they're feeling good about the product they use. And yeah, I think, overall, long term, we want to get a lot more brands on the platform, whether they're international or local. And as for offline presence, definitely plans to go offline over the next 12 to 18 months.
Ishita, thanks very much for sharing your thoughts with us here on CNBC-TV18.
So that's Meolaa's growth strategy going forward. But the battle of the stockbrokers has a new winner. For now, Groww unseated Zerodha as India's top broker in September. As per data from NSE, Groww had a 6.63 million strong active investor base, while Zerodha stood at 6.48 million. As the race heats up, what will it take for Groww to expand the market in a bid to keep growing? Akhil Vishwanath does a deep dive. Take a look.
Volatile, intense, fierce. Stock trading shot through the roof in September. The Nifty 50 index hit the 20,000 mark for the first time ever. Number of unique investors on the NSE surged to a record high of 80 million, of which 33 million were active traders. Amidst all of that, the brokers also got a new ruler. Groww beat Zerodha to become India's top broker, a crown won by the Nitin Kamath-run platform for 57 months since January 2019. Following a close battle for over a year, in September, Groww's number of active users surged to 6.63 million, slightly more than Zerodha's at 6.48 million. And over 60% of its users are based in Tier 2, 3 and 4 towns. Groww facilitated 1/5 of the trades on NSE, followed by Zerodha, Angel One, Upstocks and legacy broker ICICI Securities. Guess. Groww is now the top broker in the country, but it didn't begin with stockbroking at all. The startup was set up in 2016 as a mutual funds platform by 4 former executives of Flipkart, Lalit Keshre, Harsh Jain, Neeraj Singh and Ishan Bansal. It entered stockbroking only in 2020, just as the pandemic hit the world. Under lockdown, retail investors, mostly India's youth, rushed to invest in stocks. Demat accounts were opened like never before. And the digital revolution in stockbroking took a leap. As the market expanded, Groww's strategy was simple.
We are getting into the internet domain. So instead of going to that $1 million investor, you're going to like billions of users who are like investing, let's say, smaller amounts, and then you are collecting that. This is how the typical internet businesses work. You're catering to like millions of users, and then you're making small amounts from everybody. And because you have like millions of users, you can become a very, very large company.
In April of 2021, Groww turned unicorn when Tiger Global led the $83 million Series D round and joined existing investors Sequoia Capital India, which is now Peak 15 Partners, Ribbit Capital, YC Continuity, and others on the cap table. The company had now transformed, expanding from mutual funds and stocks to digital gold, ETFs, intraday trading, IPOs, investment products were added in quick succession.
So what has changed is that the product selection has been increasing for the customers, and we continue investing deeper and deeper on user experience, on user education. So yeah, I think to answer your question, we haven't changed. The overall philosophy, the overall goal of making investing simple stays.
Soon after turning unicorn, Groww did a David over Goliath as it acquired Indiabulls Mutual Fund for Rs 175 crore. The buyout was completed in May this year.
इसमें 2 साल लगे हैं। 2 साल पहले हमने एक एक्विजिशन किया था इंडिया बुल्स म्यूचुअल फंड का। ग्रो खुद का म्यूचुअल फंड बनाना चाहते थे।
In fact, competition in this space is fierce. Zerodha has also set up an AMC in partnership with Smallcase. What may seem like rivalry isn't one at all, sources close to Groww told CNBC-TV18. The startup has envisioned itself as a multi-product platform providing a full bouquet of financial services. The firm started its lending business in December 2022 and has been growing that vertical steadily, offering personal loans. Which brings us to monetization. So while Groww has grown its broking clientele without charging any fees to open a trading account with it, Zerodha has been charging 200 rupees. And we also learned that Groww has not been making any money distributing mutual funds. Let's take a look at how the two fare on financials. Zerodha's revenue is 5 times that of Groww, and profitability nearly 40 times. Nitin Kamath values Zerodha at a modest $3.6 billion, while Groww was last valued at $3 billion despite not having the revenue to match Zerodha. That's the challenge for Groww, to grow into its valuation. But there is a problem not just facing Groww, but every company looking to build a business in this space. Following the drop in the pandemic-led digital rush, all roads in fintech for the funded players are converging. Diversification and the full-stack financial services model is now the main street. One source of income is no longer enough. That's led to deep-pocketed players targeting the same consumer. Walmart-backed PhonePe recently launched Share.Market, its challenger app to Zerodha and Groww. HDFC Securities has launched its own discount broking platform, Sky. And then there is competition from existing players Upstocks, Scriptbox, Smallcase and Kubera. As the race heats up, what will it take for Groww to expand the market in a bid to keep growing? That's the question. Akhil Vishwanath for CNBC TV18.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.